Hi everyone. So first I wanted to talk about what the student achievement gap is. So it is a gap that can be seen between test scores, grades, etc., between different subgroups of people in different schools. It is more likely to be seen in places with higher poverty rates, lower school funding, and schools that are made up of a majority of minority students. So throughout my high school experience, I went to a high school that was predominantly filled with white students. I didn't really have a diverse group of students that I went to school with, but I can definitely see the student achievement gap in some of our neighboring schools that were in worse parts of town or have didn't have as much funding as I did or my school did. So I could definitely see the differences between my school and some of the schools in our neighboring town. So, to start, I kind of wanted to create a solution that would allow for the community to get involved because throughout history, there have been many different tries and solutions to this problem, but the student achievement gap is still being seen 50, 60 years after the problem arose. So, I figured that getting the community involved in decreasing this gap would be a different aspect or a different way of trying to create a solution for this problem. So, what I came up with was a program where different volunteers or people of the community can come into schools and volunteer their time to either do test prep, tutoring, hold assemblies, or different programs and activities for these students to learn from. So, it would be a way where the school wouldn't necessarily have to worry about the funding, as well as a different perspective as to how these students can reach their academic goals and find more successes in their grades, their test scores, and stuff like that. I figured it was a great way to get the community involved and have everyone get a better understanding of what the student achievement gap is. When creating this solution, I wanted to keep in mind on how all students learn differently and how having these different perspectives can be a way for these students to get information from different perspectives or through different means and different people that they're not used to seeing day to day. And I think it's a great way to kind of involve the community in this problem and create awareness to it as well as fight to create a change for it. Some of the biggest obstacles that I may face when creating this solution and implementing it into the schools in my neighborhood and community is just finding individuals that are willing to volunteer their time to help out their community. It will be important for us to have multiple different individuals volunteering their time, whether it be test prep, tutoring, um, holding assemblies about their experiences or how the successes they found and the tips and tricks that they use to get themselves through school. So finding these resources throughout the community and people that are willing to volunteer their time will be the biggest obstacle that I face. On top of that, I really hope that these perspectives and these individuals will help bridge the gap between schools with more funding, higher qualified teachers, and stuff like that, and students that are in a higher poverty area with lower funding. Because rather than the school focusing on which resources they're providing to the students, will be able to create a free volunteer-based program that allows for these schools to get or these students to get the same opportunities um, as students that are in higher achieving schools. And hopefully, this will help mend the gap between higher achieving students and lower achieving students and fight the problem of the student achievement gap.